What's going on, fellow gamers? Welcome back to another episode of the Slow Runcast. I am one of your hosts, Muhammad Ali, aka the Iraqi Balboa, and of course, I'm joined by my friend and co-host, Durwin Luke, or as I prefer to call him, the Durwinator.
I always
How
laugh
are
whenever
you
say
doing, my
that.
man? What?
I always laugh when you say that.
The
People probably
Durwinator.
realize that, but I always laugh.
I need to do like a Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna learn the way he says it.
Yeah.
I'll be back. Yeah. How you doing, man?
Not too bad.
How was your week?
It's been pretty good. We're not recording in the middle of the night this time around.
Yo, I feel so good. I just took a shower. I shaved, and when I say I shaved, it means I shaved my cheeks so my beard doesn't go all the way up to the bottom of my
Your
eyes,
eyes?
because I'm literally like another like archaic human species when it comes to body hair.
Talking about that, you're like, what is it? The classical monsters that Universal owns? Like, is that like the thing, or like that huge fur ball in like Hotel Transylvania?
Oh yeah. I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. Yeah, it's like a Chewbacca type feeling.
Yeah.
So, man, we had some fun video game news this week. Last week was the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal. This week was the Xbox Developer Direct for 2025. So Microsoft's actually been doing this for 3 years now. I mean, on a side note, I love how Microsoft shows us stuff throughout the year. I just feel like it's so structured. It's not like Sony. It's not like Nintendo. You get this Xbox Developer Direct. They've been doing it for 3 years now. You get it in January. End of January, last week of January, or the week before, they'll give it to you. And then Summer Game Fest comes along. They have their own Xbox showcase. That's like an hour and a half. And Gamescom comes along, and they have their own little thing at Gamescom. And then last year, they did an additional one like in November or something. Yeah. But it's like nice. Like, you know what to expect for them as the year goes by, like from January, like, you're not going to get any more Xbox like big announcements or big showcase from now till June.
Yeah, like I also love the formatting of the video. Like, it gives like so much time to the developers to actually like talk about their projects. It's not just like you have 2 minutes. Like,
it's not a TikTok reel.
Yeah, show us gameplay, talk, show us more gameplay, show us characters. Like, they actually like go through it. You get a little bit behind the scenes too. I don't know. I love the video.
Yeah. It's really good. This is the third year they've done it. I remember the first year, 2023, they shadow dropped Hi-Fi Rush on it. They didn't shadow drop anything last year, but they shadow dropped something else this year, and we'll get right into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to mention, like, now we have like a full look at what Microsoft's first half of the year is going to look like. And personally, man, I think it looks good. I think it looks really good.
Yeah, I think Microsoft actually cooked this year. Like, I was watching the 3 games that they really announced, and like every single one looked interesting to me. Like, none of them was just like, oh, this game looks very mid. Like, all of them looked interesting.
It seems like finally Microsoft is like reached the point where all these purchases that they did previously in the late 2010s, and then purchasing Bethesda and then purchasing Activision Blizzard, it feels like it's all finally coming to fruition. I know it's a little bit too late now that they kind of lost all the console wars and gave up on exclusivity, Maybe if this came like 4 years early, Microsoft might still be like really close in the push. And it's like a complete overturn of their fate compared to where Sony seems to be heading, which we could get to that some other time. But like now we could see the fruition of, well, what their hard big bucks earned them, studio wise. But yeah, so let's get right into it. First game announced. So if you recall, last week on the show, we talked about how there was a rumor of a secret game in development for Xbox from well-cherished Japanese IP.
Yeah, like a legacy.
Yeah, like,
Japanese IP.
so everybody was like, what is it? Like, we were speculating. No one really had any idea. There were speculations that this leak, this rumor of this game was the game that on the ad for the Xbox Developer Direct was like an unknown, a question mark, because they had 3 games that we already knew we were going to see: Doom the Dark Ages, South of Midnight, and Claire Expedition 33.
Yeah.
And then there was the mystery game. So everyone's like, I think this new game from this beloved Japanese IP is the mystery game. I think that's what it was, and they started the show with it too.
Yeah, I can't believe they started the show with it. I thought they were gonna end with like this mystery game.
I thought it'd be like bonus one more. No. Right into it, and it is Ninja Gaiden 4. A mainline Ninja Gaiden from Team Ninja, but being co-developed with Platinum Games. Holy smokes. Super exciting stuff.
Yeah. We get a new protagonist.
Yes.
From what I understand.
Yeah.
Have you played any of the previous Ninja Gaiden games?
I kind of played them by watching my friend play them. I had a shout out to Hamzi. My friend Hamzi, he used to have the original Xbox, and he used to have Ninja Gaiden 1, or it was 1 Black, I'm not sure. And that's where my first kind of experience with Ninja Gaiden was. I saw him playing it, at his house, and I was like, every time I'd go over, we'd play it, try it out. So I'm aware of the franchise, even though I don't have that much like play experience in it.
Yeah.
Have you played any of the OG ones?
No, I've never played any of the Ninja Gaiden games. But I have to say, the trailer or like this section has sold me. Like immediately after I'm done Dynasty Warriors, I'm gonna be hopping on to the game that was just dropped on us.
Yeah.
So I'll let you take it away.
Sorry for the audience for the change in microphones. I just realized I was using my MacBook mic instead.
Well, I should have noticed because I had my headset in and I'm listening. I'm like, dude, I keep like putting the volume up on my headset. I'm like, bro, I could hear my voice blasting. Why is this? Why can I why does this guy's audio sound weird? But yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, so where we were at, Ninja Gaiden 4. So we saw that it's a new protagonist, but Ryu is still in it in some type of maybe villain kind of capacity. We're not really sure.
I think it's not going to be villains, but I think they described it as like their rival like factions or like rival like clans. I guess clans technically because they're ninjas.
Yeah. I'm excited for this. This is supposedly fall 2025, so this year.
Dude, I hope you can play as both.
I think you will be able to.
Yeah, because I think the developers were saying like each character has like their own like play style. So like this newer ninja has like a completely different like I guess like combat style versus Ryu.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this one big time. It's being published by Xbox Game Studios. So I don't think it's going to be exclusive to Xbox. Wouldn't make any sense since
I thought I saw that they were announcing on like it was going to come out on PC as well.
Yeah. Actually, I do remember PC and PS5. Yeah, I think I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, super exciting way to start this off, man. Ninja Gaiden 5 being co-developed by Platinum Games, who have a very good history of making action games as well, in addition to Team Ninja. That was not all. They literally were like, after they announced all that, they're like, oh, also, P.S., take a look at this. And they remade or remastered, whatever you want to call it, Ninja Gaiden 2 in Unreal Engine 5. It's being released as kind of like a definitive release. It's called Ninja Gaiden Black, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. And it was available the day of the developer direct on Game Pass, out now. Insane. Shadow dropped. Super exciting stuff. I went and downloaded that right away. And we'll get into that in the playlist. But yeah, played a couple of hours of that. Super, man, like they just started off guns blazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't give you any time for you to like relax and be like, whatever.
I was still like hyperventilating about Ninja Gaiden before they even like moved on to the next game. Yeah. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy way to open it up. Yeah, I don't know, man. That Team Ninja, man, they have such good output too. Like aside from the Xbox Developer Direct, they have this remaster. They have Ninja Gaiden 4 coming out later this year. They had Rise of the Ronin, which wasn't the best game according to critics, but that was earlier last year. They had Wulong Fallen Dynasty the year before that. Final Fantasy Origin, Stranger of Paradise. The year before that, 2022, and then Neo 2 and 20s. So crazy output from the studio. And I hope they keep it up. Are you gonna hop into Ninja Gaiden 2 Black?
Yeah. So like I said, I'm gonna finish Dynasty Warriors, and Ninja Gaiden is on my next to play. It looks really good.
It looks good. Yeah. Well, we'll get to it in the playlist, but there's a couple of settings I would suggest that just to make it kind of perform better. But next is Compulsion Games is South of Midnight. This we already knew about this game previously. We've seen it before, and they it's always like they'll show off a game Xbox, and then when it feels like it's getting close to coming out, they'll have the developer direct for one last push and then give us the release date. That is exactly what they did. The release date for this is April 8th, which is soon as well. And we saw a little bit more of the combat, a little bit more of the story. This game is what you would call the style stop motion of the movement?
Yeah, so they use like claymation, I thought, or like stop motion. Like, I mean, it's like one and the same almost because they like claymation is basically like stop motion. They go frame by frame and they like alter. Yeah, they alternate. They alter like the movement of the like clay doll.
Yeah. Yeah, and then this is a game that takes place in kind of the southern United States, kind of a Louisiana setting, and it is kind of like a modern person who is living some type of traditional Louisiana folklore and stuff like that. Action adventure game, third person, with
magic based combat, right? And you're basically like facing like very, I guess, like historical, like magical creatures based on
or whatever.
Based on southern southern folklore or whatever. It looks interesting as hell.
Game Pass day one on this. This one is not PS5 on release, I think. This one is still Xbox exclusive only right now, or PC. And I think what we're seeing is there's a trend that Xbox is now making their games PS5 on day one. It's just that some of the games that were already in development before this executive decision from up top happened, the games that were already in development weren't working on a PS5 port until later. So there's probably going to be a staggered release with this one. Yeah, but I think it's like $50. Aside from it being Game Pass, I think it's like $50 Canadian or something on release. So it's actually like a smaller.
Yeah, it might have been. Game. It might be a shorter game, but I mean, I'm all for it. I think this is like super interesting. I don't think I've seen anything really like it in terms of like setting.
Not at all. I mean, the only thing I could think of as a setting is a world in the first Sly Cooper. In a Louisiana setting like that. It might not actually, it wasn't even a Louisiana setting. I think it was supposed to be like a Haiti voodoo setting.
Yeah.
So that is South of Midnight on April 8th. Next we have Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Is that the name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
33. This is a turn-based RPG with some action elements involved in it.
It looks like a little bit like Metaphor.
It is. It seems like it's heavily influenced by Persona, at least mechanically, maybe not like art-wise or whatever. Art-wise, it looks completely different. The style.
It's like a Western take on like a JRPG almost.
Exactly. That's kind of the vibe I get from it as well. this one is not a first-party Xbox game, but we did see it on the Xbox showcase last summer. It is coming probably to Game Pass day one. I didn't actually see the fine print, but I can't imagine they would have had on a game on here that wasn't a day one on Game Pass. But also coming to PS5. Sounds like it's a 30-hour plus RPG. There's a lot of big voices on this. Voice actors. I don't know. Did you take a look at the cast?
I didn't see the cast, no, but run me down real quick.
Claire Obscure. Expedition 33. Cast. Yeah, it had Ben Starr, of course, from Final Fantasy 16. Charlie Cox, Jennifer English, Rich Kimball, Shayla Nix, Andy Serkis.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's a huge.
Devorah Wild, Ben Starr. This is obviously spelled wrong. It should be Christy Ryder, not Kirsty Ryder. Alex Martin. I don't know most of these names, but still, like, to keep in mind, this is like a studio of like 30 people or something.
Yeah. It looks very interesting. Like I'm looking at the combat and I dig it. Yeah. Like the damage numbers and like just how it plays based on like just looking at, gameplay footage. Yeah. It looks interesting. Like
for sure.
I think it breathes a little bit of fresh air to some RPG titles.
And especially hopefully it won't have all the weeb stuff that
the waifu. There's no waifu watch.
No.
This is gonna hurt.
Well, it's not the waifus that we have an issue with. It's the terrible weeb themes.
Yes, gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, this is April 20th. So right after South of Midnight here. So April's starting to look packed already. Again, Game Pass, man. I'm gonna give it a try. Anything else is on Game Pass, I'm gonna try it.
It's like an automatic. Like you might as well like start it up and play for a few hours and see if you like it. Yeah.
And then lastly, the last game we saw is Doom: The Dark Ages, with a release date for May 15. This was already actually leaked earlier in the week, and this announcement just confirms it. This game is it's between this and Ninja Gaiden 4, but this might be my highlight. This game looks insane, man. Insane. So excited for this. Like PS5 day one, as well as being on Game Pass. Yeah, man, I don't know what to say. We've already seen Doom: The Dark Ages before on previous showcases.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the finale. Devs talked a little bit about how they changed the mechanics, less vertical jumping in the air stuff, and more grounded on the ground. Takes place in some type of like prequel world, medieval world to the Doom, where it's like almost a medieval like fight in hell. You got this cool, crazy chainsaw shield. I mean, I don't know what else to say. This game is going to be straight carnage. The soundtrack's going to slap. May 15. It's crazy, man. Our like 2025 already looks so packed.
Yeah. Like we basically have to play these games like back to back to back.
Yeah. Literally, they're giving you like 2-3 weeks between the games. It's like you got 2-3 weeks to finish this. You're moving on to the next one.
Yeah. If you don't finish, like you, Mo,
yeah, exactly.
it's gonna be in your backlog.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
All of this is so hype. Like, this is exciting news for Xbox. Like, I love to hear it.
I mean, and don't forget that they also have Avowed coming out February 18th, which I'm not as high on Avowed, but a lot of game previews are saying it's something special. So they have, I mean, like, bro, aside from like the Xbox stuff, we're packed like February, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on the 4th, Civ 7 on the 11th, Avowed on the 18th, Lost Records Bloom Range on the 18th, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii on the 21st, and Monster Hunter Wilds on the 28th. That's just February. Insane. You get to March, you got Split Fiction, you got Fragpunk, you got Assassin's Creed Shadows, you have Atomfall, first Berserker Kazan, and then you get to April, South of Midnight, Lost Records Tape 2, Fatal Fury, Clair Obscur, and then you get into May and you have Doom: The Dark Ages. We're busy from now till June. You know what I mean? It's wild. Yeah, like just Xbox Avowed on the 18th of February. In March, they don't have a first party game, but they have Atomfall, which is coming Game Pass day one on the 27th, and they have South of Midnight and Clair Obscur in April, and Doom: The Dark Ages. So they're giving you 1-2 games a month on Game Pass, either first party or third party exclusive or big third party games that are going right into Game Pass day one.
Good time to sub.
Yeah, very good time to sub. Sticking with Xbox, there was something I noticed that Ninja Gaiden Black 2 is getting a physical release on PS5 only.
Oh,
I thought that was
that's unfortunate.
I thought that was a little bit curious. I've been hearing that Xbox video games, like hard copy video game sales, is like so low that there's some places in the world they don't even offer it at their stores.
Oh, they don't carry it.
Yeah,
I guess it makes
in Europe they don't even
though.
carry. Yeah,
it makes sense because if it's coming day one to Game Pass, like how many people are actually going to be buying the physical, right?
The physical Xbox version of it versus,
Yeah. I would actually like to see them pivot to like an online, like only in terms of like if you want to buy like a physical and then they can, or maybe not even physical, but like, some collector edition stuff. Like I personally hate collector's editions without a physical copy of the game. I mean, if people are like willing to spend the money on like a good game that they come out with, merchandising might be like kind of big.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because apparently in Europe they don't even like carry them. Like if you go to a video game store, like a mom and pop store or like a big box store, they don't even have Xbox physical games.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. I think even if I'm not mistaken, I was looking, but I didn't look into it too hard. Even Doom: The Dark Ages, like the physical of the PS5 has like a special edition, but the Xbox doesn't. Or something like that. Some weird stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, that is
moving on to Switch 2 stuff with the Xbox.
Oh yeah. I thought you were going to say Switch 2. I'm like, no, I don't want to hear anymore. Yeah. So more. So speaking of Xbox games, there is apparently more reported. There are rumors, nothing confirmed. More Xbox Studio or first party games being ported to Switch 2. We reported a little bit about this last week with things like Metal Gear. Well, that was an Xbox game, but Metal Gear Solid Delta. And then there was Halo, Microsoft Flight Sim. And now we've been hearing reports about Diablo 4 and Starfield and Fallout 4. Which, to me, if these are true, even though I don't care about playing these games on Switch because I've already either played them or not interested in playing them, what makes me happy about hearing these rumors is, does this mean the Switch 2 is going to be actually like functional? It could run Diablo 4 or Fallout 4 or Starfield, right? That's like, it's like if you could run Starfield, then this is a good piece of hardware, right?
Yeah, it's like decent enough to play those games.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll have a physical release. That would be kind of funny.
Yeah, on the Switch 2, probably. Actually, Switch sells a lot of physical hardware. There is a report now that is saying Xbox hardware is kind of lagging behind, specifically lagging behind the Xbox One, and that PS5 is actually outpacing the PS4. And we saw, and aside from that, there's a 25% drop in video game hardware altogether spent last year. Thoughts on that? This is coming from Matt Piscatella, who was an industry analyst.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of interesting in terms of numbers. I'm not surprised about the Xbox numbers at all. Like, a lot of their stuff is like on discount pretty heavily. Not to say that the PS5s aren't on discount too, with like the Pros being out and just overall like a huge stockpile of them. Like, I think I went to Costco the other day and there was like literally like 2 palletfuls of both consoles.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think would lag behind the Xbox One sales. That's kind of shocking to me.
Yeah, that is shocking considering the original Xbox One sold very poorly.
Yeah, that's interesting. But then sales altogether are down 25%, hardware sales.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, we're past like the hump where, you know, I think Sony already said this like a year ago. They're like, PS5 is past its like climbing point for how much sales it.
Yeah, I think it's just everybody that was gonna buy one, like, you know, pretty early on has bought one already, and now we're just kind of near the halfway mark. Everybody's got it. Like,
but speaking of all this, that means people like me and you who have a PS5 to play games, they're probably not going to play that Horizon MMO anytime soon, because reports are it has been canceled internally. Now this is because there's 2 live service Horizon games reportedly in development, one directly being developed by Guerrilla Games and one being developed by the Korean developer NCSoft. And it sounds like the MMO game's also been canceled. This leaves us, we reported last week about Blue Point's live service game and Ben Studios live service games being canceled. If this Horizon MMO is also canceled, we're down to 4 games, I believe, if my count is correct.
mm-hmm.
Gummy Bears, Marathon, Fair Games, and Horizon Co-op. That is all that's left of all the live service games that were supposed to come out. Yep. Yeah. You're sad. I know you wanted to play this Horizon MMO.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I wanted to hop on an MMO RPG.
Yeah, you were going to degen on it, apparently. The word on the street.
It's okay. It's a pipe dream now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think we talked about this enough last week, but it sounds like these are all coming crashing down. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear about another one being canceled.
Yeah. Or maybe even like launched and then canceled right after.
Yeah. We got 4 more to go. Let's see. Next time we have a showcase or something, we got to see what's going on.
Yeah.
In other news for Sony, the founder of Insomniac Games is retiring. Ted Price is leaving Insomniac Games, and it sounds like he's done for good. He's not going on to do something else. He's the founder, and he's been there for over 30 years.
Yeah. 1994, right? With
the year we were born.
Yeah. Well, you were born.
Oh, that's true. You're older.
93, sorry. Yeah, for me. But yeah, he was there for Ratchet and Clank and all the
Spyro.
Yeah.
Don't forget Spyro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Insomniac Games is one of my favorite video game developers of all time. In fact, probably the first video game I popped in a console I owned that my parents bought me that wasn't like a hand-me-down or something from someone else was Ratchet and Clank on the PS2. And I just fell in love with Insomniac ever since. I played all the Ratchet and Clank games. They were one of my favorite games, video game franchise growing up. And then in retrospect, I went back and played all the Spyros too. Yeah, I kind of missed out on their games during the PS3 era because I didn't have a PS3 because it cost an arm and a leg to buy. Yeah. I didn't have the money to buy it. And my dad's like, screw off, go buy 360. So I missed out kind of on all the PS3 Ratchet and Clanks and the Resistance games. But I mean, since then, they've still been cooking with the Spider-Man series, with the more recent Ratchet and Clanks. Yeah, they're definitely one of my most favorite developers of all time.
The new Ratchet and Clanks are so good. I love them.
Yeah. I had another thought though. Like, I feel like we're at a point where all these big video game, like OG developers, are kind of at the tail end of their like career, and we're starting to see them all retire, which is like an interesting thought. Because I mean, the video game industry's only been around for so long, right? Since the 70s, really, if you really want to push it back. It's been like 50 years of this industry only. And so it's like you're starting to see people now that like started their career in this thing slowly and slowly. Like we had Shuhei Yoshida leaving Sony the other week. Like some people like Reggie Fils-Aimé. I know he's still around in some kind of form, within the video game space, but him leaving Nintendo and stuff like that. who else just recently left Nintendo? Anyway, point is, like, you're starting to see a lot of these people retire, and it's like, ooh, it's like almost like a cycle's been complete.
Yeah. New generation.
New generation.
Ship of Theseus. It's completely different now. Is it still the same Insomniac? But he did say, like, specifically for Insomniac, that he did trust, the leadership that is taking over for him.
Yep. Speaking of which, I'm not sure EA trusted the leadership of Dragon Age the Veilguard, and it looks like they're paying the price for it. So, news reports are that EA has lost $6 billion in market value, and its stock has dropped by 17% following some upsetting underperformance from both FC25 and Dragon Age the Veilguard.
Yeah, that's huge.
Last week we reported that Dragon Age the Veilguard's director left EA for a better opportunity. I'm not sure if that's the case now. I think maybe she left because they were trying to be nice, or she saw the writing on the wall. It did not meet expectations. Their expectations were for the game to sell 3 million copies. It has only sold 1.5 million. This sounds like another like Star Wars Outlaws thing. And apparently FIFA's also been underperforming, and FIFA makes like $2 billion in revenue every year for EA.
Yeah. I mean, with the competition that's out for like football games, soccer games, like especially the new one that's coming out from the makers of Sifu, like,
I don't know what's going on here. I don't think there is even that much competition to FIFA, to be honest with you. Like Konami's eFootball doesn't compete like PES used to compete back in the day. This new game UFL doesn't have it. FIFA's a big money maker, man, and people literally own PS5s just to play FIFA.
Yeah,
I am surprised this has dropped. But to be honest with you, it's kind of like the big money maker is specifically Ultimate Team. It makes almost half of that money that I just mentioned.
That's crazy.
Are you familiar with Ultimate Team?
No, I'm not.
Okay. FIFA Ultimate Team is a game mode that came out, if I'm not mistaken, in 2010. What it effectively is, it's a create a team mode where you create a team and then you go on to play matches and then go play tournaments and win games and improve your team. But the mechanic in which you create your team is based on trading cards. So, like packs.
So it's based on gambling and loot crates, basically.
Loot crates. So it's like you start off. They give you a lot of free packs in the game, right? You get free packs from winning games. You get packs from completing challenges. You get packs from winning tournaments. And the packs have a set of cards. You open the pack. It's like opening a real like Pokemon pack, right? And then you see what you get, and then you get some players. You want to keep some. You want to sell some. There's like an online market and stuff like that. And then you just improve your team over and over. The season goes. And every year it resets. The new FIFA, boom, you're down to 0.
So you lose the cards that you...
Well, you don't lose it because you don't lose it because you could go play the old FIFA from the year before.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But the new FIFA comes out. Yeah.
That's insane.
It is a super fun game mode. I've played plenty of Ultimate Team. It's super addicting. I've never fallen into the trap where I've spent a significant amount of money on Ultimate Team, but I have. I'm not going to lie. Even then, I have. 1 year, I think I spent more on Ultimate Team than I spent on buying the actual game. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like, this is illogical, right? Listen.
Sorry, that blows my mind. Like, it's the same game kind of every year to year. But then because of this one game mode, you're buying these packs, and then the packs are effectively useless once you upgrade to the next year's game.
Yes, exactly. It's the biggest game mode in FIFA, and it's been ported over to some other games. I believe there's an NHL equivalent. I don't know if there's a Madden equivalent. I'm not sure.
Dude, oh my God. Whoever thought of this is genius.
Listen, I mean, when I played it the first time in 2010, it was a DLC. It wasn't even part of the base game. You had to buy this as a DLC.
That's crazy.
But it was like not a lot of people knew about it, and then it just blew up, and it's been their core game mode ever since. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You play ranked. There's like a ranked like you would play in Valorant or League or whatever. You know, there's whatever. There's divisions. And you just make money from winning games and from going up rank, and you could use that in-game currency to buy the packs, or you could use real money to buy the packs. Or you could just, what I would do after a certain point is I just buy the players I want from the market directly.
Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. Like why buy packs when you just need that one player, or you want that one player, right?
So this is their big money milker. I don't know why it's dropped. Is it because their expectations are unrealistic, or has it just plateaued? Everything comes to an end at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the game got pretty dry. I don't buy FIFA anymore. I used to buy FIFA all the time. And I follow soccer. I play soccer. Like, I'm well aware of these players. Like, I'm invested in the soccer world. But the idea that I'm going to go buy FIFA and play, there's no, like, it's kind of like I've done it. I've already played it. Yeah. Like, all that's changed is it's like before back in the day, every annualized release of FIFA, there was an improvement on graphics, an improvement on gameplay, improvement on whatever. We've reached like a plateau.
Yeah.
Like, you could turn on FIFA 21. I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference between it and 25. Can I? I don't think I can, right?
We've reached a plateau. They might be ray tracing the light that's hitting the field different. Right. But yeah.
We've reached a plateau where it's like this game is not mechanically improving any better.
Mm-hmm.
And then even the game modes, like, it's like become stagnant. It's like this Ultimate Team is such a good game mode. I mean, it's genius, don't get me wrong. It's exciting, like opening a pack and then getting the players. There's a level of excitement to it, right? So, and you create your own team and you have to make the chemistry work with them. And then even the cards, man, there's like different versions of the cards, like, you know, like
like holographic or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. There's like Team of the Year edition, and the colors are different, and the overall for the player is different, right? Or Team of the Player of the Month or something like that. You know, so instead of like the base card, you have the base Charizard. No, you have the
you've got the reverse shiny or whatever,
and you literally have the cards and you place them on the field to create your formation, and then you go.
That's pretty cool. But again, like, man, how much was a pack? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but it was not cheap. Like, it would be that, you know, that annoying thing they do in like free to play games or like games of a service, where the base thing costs a certain amount of in-game currency, but to buy that in-game currency, you either buy the less amount, which is not enough, or you overbuy. Have you seen that?
Yeah. And then
they always do that.
Then you get into a cycle of, it's like basically the arcade where they give you like an odd number of coins, and then you have like 2 leftover coins, and you're like, do I buy more coins? Do I just leave? And then if you just leave, it just, like, what do you do with your coins kind of deal?
Yeah, that's exactly what they do. It's like it's like if the pack is $10, you could only buy $3 or $7 in real game currency, or $13, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, right. It's always like super.
It's super annoying like that. Yeah. So, but anyway, I'm not really sure what's going on with FIFA. I think it just stagnated, and I think these guys are expecting growth for something that's not going to grow anymore. And as for Dragon Age, I mean, I don't know what's going on, man. I like BioWare. I know critics were saying this game was good or okay, and it was like 84 on Metacritic, and some people were saying this was amazing, and then whatever. Then Game of the Year came, and we didn't really see it nominated for anything.
It was only nominated for one thing, right?
Accessibility or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't even nominated for Best RPG.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't seem like it's hitting on that caliber of BioWare. And we've already gone through Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda last decade. I don't really have hope for Mass Effect 4, to be quite frank with you.
Mm-hmm.
They need to really turn it around or something.
Yeah, I think they need to, like, maybe a new IP. Like, I don't know.
That too. What do you think? You played Dragon Age. I didn't. Thematically, I looked at it. I'm like, this game doesn't look interesting. It looks boring to me.
Yeah. It's mid. It's like I said, like,
yeah.
There's just nothing that really stands out about it. Like, other than, like, yeah, it plays very well, and you don't like it plays as well as Dynasty Warriors does. There's like barely any glitches. It came out technically in terms of, like, you know, no crashes, no weird like clipping through walls or anything like that. Like it's a solid, like if it got 0 updates or close to 0 updates, you could still play the game like perfectly fine. But like beyond that, like there was just nothing interesting or nothing there for you.
Yeah.
So I get it. Like with the amount of bad press too, like, you know, word of mouth really helps sell things even today.
Word of mouth help in today's age. It's word of mouth either sells your game or makes your game flop, to be honest with you. Someone could say your game is shit when it really isn't, and it doesn't matter because they said your game is garbage.
Yeah.
Even if it isn't, it doesn't matter. It's like done. And honestly, listen, I don't want to mention it really. I don't care, but I think we should mention it anyway. Like a lot, what I'm seeing, and I don't know if it's a vocal minority or if it's really how as you say in Arabic, how the street feels. But everybody on the internet, I'm just reading comments. It seems like the woke aspect of this game is a reason why a lot of people aren't playing it or buying it. You go woke, you go broke, as they say.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I like completely agree with it or like maybe I just don't have that mindset, but it's just like,
yeah,
I can see why some people like would steer away with that. And then, you know, it's what catches their eye. And then they look into the actual gameplay and they're like, oh, you know, like I said, when me and you looked at the gameplay, like nothing stood out about it.
Nothing
for us.
I mean, I wasn't aware of any woke anything in the game. All I saw was gameplay. I didn't look at any of the deep dives. I looked at the gameplay. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, and it still didn't look enticing. Like you look at the gameplay that they showed off for Dragon Age, and then you look at the gameplay for like Ninja Gaiden, and you're like, well, clearly this is like the game I want to play.
I'm also really art style sensitive. Like I'll be quite frank with you. I don't have time to sit there and like read about your game that much. I judge books by its cover when it comes to what I'm going to play. Unless your game is a 90 on Metacritic and everybody's telling me to play it, then I'll go. Even then, if I'm not really that interested, I don't know if I will. But I judge books by its cover. I didn't like the art style at all. I just thought it looked weird.
Yeah.
It just seemed... I mean, but okay, yeah. Anyway, like going back to this whole like woke versus not woke culture war that's going on in video games. There's also like, it's also kind of happening to Assassin's Creed Shadows. It seems like a lot of people are against this game just because of the whole Black Samurai thing and the female protagonist thing. Yeah,
I think it's gonna end up very similar to what happened with Dragon Age. Like it's gonna be like, you know, a very mid game. Like early previews are out. I've like snuck a peek at like some of the like early reviews on like not on a final version technically, but like I don't know. It looks like a fine game. It doesn't look like it's, you know, super buggy or anything like that in terms of gameplay. But like I don't know. There's nothing enticing there for me.
I've seen some mixed feelings. Some people seem to be positive. Some people seem to be really negative, and some people seem to be like somewhere, I want to say in the middle, right? On Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah. But yeah, same analogy. Like if I heard like, oh yeah, like this game is coming out, like they have like, you know, questionable like woke themes to it, and I take a look at the gameplay. Like the gameplay didn't sell me on it either.
Anyway,
so like no matter what, like you kind of lose. Like you lose to the woke to the people that won't play your game because it's woke, and then the people that are hearing about it and like actually looking at your gameplay, it's not interesting enough to actually sell them this game.
I also heard the writing was horrendous, which you could probably.
Oh my god! Please, what's with this terrible writing?
Yeah. Anyway, that's unfortunate. Bro, EA needs to just give Respawn more money to make more games because Respawn's the only one that's freaking pumping these games out. EA's botched a bunch of shit, man. EA's like, by the way, I've said shit twice. That's 3 times this podcast, so I'm sorry. I feel like EA is like another Ubisoft. The only reason they're afloat is because of the sports simulators.
Yeah. And because they're also like ginormous.
Yeah.
Like when
I think Ubisoft's actually bigger in size.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if you think about it, like in the 2000s, like it feels like every game was like EA or Ubisoft, right?
Or Activision when
Yeah, or
Activision was doing
Activision.
other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Like every single game, like Need for Speed. Like, you know, those are the things that made them this big and made them all this money, right? Yeah.
Moving on, there was a GDC 2025 developer survey, which I thought it was a little bit interesting. So we could go over some of the findings. First is that PC games is the biggest platform that developers are using. 80% of developers were saying they're developing for PC. And then it goes 38 PS5, 38%, 34 Series X, 29 Android, 28 iOS, which is kind of interesting. I thought Android and iOS would be way up there. So I don't know. And then it goes Mac. Then it goes Nintendo Switch, which is also kind of interesting to me because I know Nintendo Switch has a lot of games on it. A lot of stuff gets ported to it. I'm surprised it's that low. Maybe it's because of, they're slowing down development for it, gearing up for the Switch 2. I'm not sure. I'm not really surprised by this. I think PC games are PC is like the biggest platform, I think, by far. And I think it's going in that direction compared to console. Like home consoles aren't, it's almost like if the guys who had a home console growing up, you stopped playing games or you went casual on your phone, or you got a PC, right? So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Point number 2, which I found was interesting. It seems like AR and VR is still holding some interest. There was a little bit of a fear with kind of how the way the PSVR 2 was going and the MetaQuest that maybe developers didn't care about it anymore. But apparently 63% of
people are interested in developing specifically
MetaQuest.
Yeah.
Right. And then it goes down Steam VR, Apple Vision, PSVR 2, 25% are interested in PSVR 2.
Okay.
But it's still holding some interest.
I have to shoehorn like just a quick comment about like
the MetaQuest.
VR, the MetaQuest. Because as you know, like I bought one, what is it, a week now?
Yes.
Okay. Everything else about it, I don't think I'll use. Like in terms of like, I'm not gonna web browse on it. I'm not gonna like do any of this weird like social media stuff on it, right? I did try and attend like the Shawn Mendes like live VR concert yesterday, just because I was like, oh, what is this? I mean, it was kind of cool, but like, did I stay for more than 5 minutes? No. But the thing is, for VR gaming, it's insane. I think it's like the most immersive type of gaming I've ever done.
100%.
Yeah. And it just like feels so cool to like, actually like climb these ladders and like climb these little rails and like actually punching people.
But what do you think is stopping it from being the thing?
I think people just don't want to put a headset on their face.
So I learned this from when I bought a PSVR 2 because I was super excited and I tried the PSVR 2 when it came out. I'm like, this is amazing. I don't play on my PSVR 2 a lot. And the reason is like, it takes time and effort to do it when sometimes I just want to sit on my couch and hold the controller. I have to create an area where I'm going to play. I have to set up the play location. I have to have some time where like I'm away from the kids and the wife.
Yeah.
I have to like make sure if somebody calls me or I need to answer someone, it's easily accessible.
So it's almost like too immersive for the age that we're in.
Yeah, it becomes too much work. You can't like eat or snack or do anything when you're.
Yeah. So that is something I'm finding as well. Like I'll play for 20 minutes also because like it kind of gives me a bit of dizziness, maybe because I don't have my VR legs yet.
You'll get your VR legs, but also I think I was telling you on the phone. Some games after half an hour you can't really.
Yeah.
I find sitting down games I could do for longer. Games where you're like in a god mode, like Demio, where you're like doing a dungeon crawler in a god mode, or like Townsman VR, where you're building like a town and you're moving like settlers around and stuff like that, or like cities or games, you're the top view, or games where you're like sitting down, like GT7 or something like that, where you're like in a race car in a plane or on a motorbike. And
yeah. So yeah, I have yet to do like a fitness game. I think that's kind of like next on my list. Of like once I beat Arkham Shadows, it's kind of short. Like, so it gives you like a percentage of how much you've cleared the video game. I'm already at like 12%, 15%. And I've only played like maybe for like an hour and like a half. But
yeah,
crazy immersion. Like, you know, I love the Batman franchise, and it like brings me right back to like, you know, the old like Arkham games. Like, I love it. The immersion is great. Sorry.
It says 10.5 hours to complete on how long to beat for just the main story. I've noticed most VR games aren't very long, actually. And it makes sense. I don't really, like, because of the restrictions I just said, it's kind of tough playing like a 150-hour game in VR. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So usually like the Horizon, Call of the Mountain is about that same length. Asgard's Wrath 2 being an exception, that thing is like 30 hours long.
Yeah, that's also one that I'm interested in trying as well. I think I get it for free for like the 3-month trial for Quest or Meta Quest Plus or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'll probably give that a try too. But yeah, like that's the only thing that blows me away is like the actual immersion. And that's probably the only reason why I'm probably going to keep it, is just so I can play some of these exclusive like VR
Meta
games.
Quest exclusive games like Batman.
Well, not just Meta exclusive, but like, you know, some of the PC VR games. I'm going to have to try and figure out how to link it to my PC so I can play like Half-Life Alyx and stuff.
Half-Life Alyx, yeah.
But yeah, that's probably the only reason why I'm keeping this headset, is because these games are like, you know, it's $250. Like, I've got to at least try some of these like must play games on VR.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited for you. Excited for you, man. This podcast made me get someone else into VR. Next thing on this survey was, do you want to make a live service game as your next title? And actually 42% of developers responded as no. 13 said yes. 16 said I already develop live service games. And then 29 said I don't know. Tells us a trend that all of us kind of feel the same way about.
Yeah.
Then, are generative AI tools being used at your company or department? 36% they already use them. 27% said no and we have no interest. 16% said some of their colleagues do. 9% said no, but we are interested. 7% they don't know, and 5% other. So it's making its way, I think. I think this metric tells you that they're going to be using it more and more.
I'm actually really surprised by 36%, because like it just feels like recently we started hearing about all this AI stuff, and now like 36% of them are actually like using it.
You're surprised that the number is that high?
Yeah, already, given the timeline of things, right?
Yeah. I think we had the question of, have layoffs impacted your company? And 43% said no, there were no layoffs at my company. But then the rest of that cumulative 57%, between them, 29% said yes, their colleagues were laid off. 18% said no, other teams and departments had been laid off in their companies. 11%, which is what is that? That's 1 in 10 people who are being asked, said that they were laid off themselves, which is a lot. And then 4 said their studio or company has been closed down entirely. 16% not applicable. I don't know what that means. Yeah.
That's kind of weird. Like, not applicable. Like they just didn't choose to answer. Maybe they didn't want people like understanding what type of position they were in.
Yeah, they were the ones who were laying off people.
Yeah, they're the CEOs.
The CEO. So that is interesting stuff. What else is also interesting is there are some analysts who are saying that GTA could cost up to $100, and that some devs are actually hoping it does, so that they could follow suit and hike the prices on their games.
I don't think devs. Maybe like actual like management, admin.
Maybe publishers. Maybe not devs themselves. Yeah, I don't know. $100 USD. That's pretty steep.
Yeah, I did the conversion, like, because we were talking about this a little bit earlier. 150 Canadian.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll wait and see. I don't want to really speculate too much. I think that's too much. I think that's unrealistic.
Would you pay $150 for GTA 6? If we didn't do like any podcast, if you were just a consumer, would you pay $150 for GTA 6?
Because GTA 6 is just so hype. I think I would. I'll be honest with you. It's just so tough.
Yeah.
Not to, because it's like, it's the thing. GTA 6 is the thing. What am I going to be, a stubborn hardhead and say no? I'm going to not.
Yeah, that's true. So here's the thing, like I don't really relate too much to GTA 6, but like let's say my favorite game, Horizon, whatever, the next entry is $150. Man, I don't know. That's a lot to pay.
That is a lot. I don't like, even I have special editions that don't cost that much. They came with like Steelbook and like soundtrack or art book or whatever.
That's just going to push the collectible like up to like what, the 400, 500 mark, easy.
More than the console. I wouldn't buy too much into those. $100 from 70 USD.
Yeah, that's huge.
I don't think so. Warner Brothers boss quits. This is from Video Game Chronicles, and the Warner Brothers games boss is leaving following disappointing Multiverses and Suicide Squad launches. Anything else really to say here? They had Harry Potter last year, or Hogwarts Legacy, and then this year they followed it up with Suicide Squad. I mean, Multiverses was unfortunate. That was a good game when it came out on beta. I just think they botched it up by taking it offline and then adding it back and thinking that we were still going to care. So that's on them. And there is some speculation that tariffs against Mexico could lead to fewer physical games. I looked into this a little bit. I think it has something to do with the discs being produced there or something for cheaper.
Yeah.
So
I wonder, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter which country it's coming from because the tariffs will basically affect them all. But
which is then they won't make them.
Yeah. I mean, they have an option to do digital. Like, why do all this effort to make a physical game when people can buy it online? Which is unfortunate because like I would prefer a physical game or a physical copy.
In good news, apparently Hollow Knight Silk Song is still in development, which I didn't think it was canceled or anything. Yeah. I mean,
did you breathe a huge breath of relief when you read this article?
I think I've mentioned a lot of times on this podcast, the big three of like, when is this coming out, is Grand Theft Auto 6, Bloodborne remaster, remake, and Hollow Knight Silk Song. If you go on any like developer director studio showcase or something like that, people in the comments on YouTube are always like, GTA 6 ? It's like, no, Rockstar's not going to show GTA 6 on this. It's like Bloodborne remastered. No, you're not.
No. That one's like literally 6 feet under.
Yeah, now we know it's 6 feet under. And then Hollow Knight Silk Song is always like, where is this thing? If you recall correctly, Hollow Knight Silk Song I think was shown in 2021, or maybe even earlier. But then what happened was in 2022, it showed up on the Xbox Summer of Game Fest showcase. And at the end of that Summer Game Fest showcase, they had a list of games and they said these are all coming out before the next time you guys see us again in 2023 at the next 2023 showcase. And they historically like botched all that, and a bunch of those games got delayed or pushed back or canceled or whatever. And then like the games that they said were going to come out never did, right? It was like it was very like it was like 2023 came along, and then everyone's like, wait, what happened to all these games Xbox said were gonna come out? One of those games that they said was gonna come out and they had a trailer for was Hollow Knight Silk Song. It was supposed to come out before June 2023, and we didn't hear about it getting delayed, and we didn't hear anything about it after that. But so yeah, it's still alive. Unfortunately, this next piece of news is actually sad. It's actually the other way around. So Earthblade, which was a game I've been anticipating, it is the next game from the developer of Celeste, which we also kind of saw. I think there was like some indie juggernauts, I want to call them, who we all kind of got updates on their next game recently. Like, we know the guys who made Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I think they're called Moonlight Studios. We know they're making No Rest for the Wicked, which is kind of like this Diablo-like, but it's more like skill-based. And then we know like the developers of Dead Cells. There's two studios. There was like the support studio that maintained the game, and then there was the original creators. They've both ceased development on Dead Cells. The original creators are making Windblown, and then the support studio are making like the Rogue Prince of Persia. We got an update that was it Supergiant is making, I think they're called Supergiant, making Hades 2. You know, we've kind of got some betas for all these games. We got an idea of kind of where they're at. One of the big kind of, I would say, indie juggernauts who've kind of released a big indie game in the last decade were the developers of Celeste, and we got to see their game Earthblade at it was the Game Awards. I think it was 2 years ago or a year ago. I can't remember. Could be 2 years ago. And this Earthblade was the same pixel art as Celeste, but it was kind of like a Metroidvania, etc. And unfortunately, it's been canceled, and it's been canceled for, not the greatest reason, but it was basically an internal dispute between the leads at the studio over the Celeste IP, and basically they sorted it out, but they agreed collectively to cease development on Earthblade. So unfortunately, that game won't see the light of day, and I will now scratch it off my anticipated.
Oh, the depression.
The depression. Yeah.
Mo's crying.
Yeah, it sucks, but yeah, there's a few like indie games coming from those like studios that kind of like the guys who released Spiritfarer. They have 33 Immortals coming out. It is what it is. Yeah. And then moving along, we have Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. Won't be a PS5 exclusive or PS6 exclusive, says the executive producer. I think this just means that people were freaking out that it was going to be so far away from release that it was going to be a PS6 only game. But he's saying, no, don't worry. It'll come out on PS5. So that's good news.
Yeah. I think he also said in the same interview that they basically started Part 3 right after Part 2 was released. Yeah. So right like away. It's already has like 9 months in development.
More now, almost a year. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. FF7 Remake Part 2 is out on PC now.
Rebirth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go check out those mods after this.
No. Mo, Tifa mods. So Final Fantasy 7
Remake. So speaking
I need to check for that Chocobo Aerith mod.
I'm gonna just go on a tangent a little bit. My wife recently, like, she used to like reading when she was a kid, right? And I kind of like, I don't know, she recently got back into it, right? Within the last 2-3 years, and obviously she's not reading the classics, she's reading the same freaking fantasy stuff that she was before. And she basically told me this whole plot of this book, and then there's like a husbando. We're talking about waifus. There's a husbando in that book that like, it's like a chick book that everyone's freaking out about. It's like fairies and dragons and whatever, but there's like, some romance and stuff like that in it. And then she's like, "Oh my god, this guy!" And I looked at her, and then I'm like, "Listen, if this guy's alive in real life, and you have to choose between me and him, who do you pick?" She's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "You got to be joking." She's like, "Oh, if he was, what's his name? Zan. Forgot his name. I don't even know the story. I don't even know the
She hit you with the I don't know.
So then I literally was like, you know what? If it was between you and Aerith, I'm freaking taking Aerith every day of the week.
Oh
she's
my
god. She's like, you know what? That's fine.
This guy.
So nice tangent.
The fact that both of your hall pass list is basically 2 fictional characters is
it's pretty sad. I'm not gonna lie.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah. Resident Evil 3 mod lets you play as Aerith from Final Fantasy VII. That's pretty sick.
I don't see any questionable mods yet, but it did just come out, so give people some time to.
Speaking of Resident Evil, apparently the mobile port is not selling very well. It's only sold 10,000 copies.
Yeah, this is specifically the iOS one, right?
Yeah, so do they really need to be porting these games on phone if nobody wants to play them there? Apparently, I heard the way that these Resident Evil games are developed, they're actually very easy to port on mobile. So that's why they're doing it. But is it even worth the effort for this much? I don't know. But what has been making money is Balatro. It has sold 5 million copies to date. That is amazing. That's 5 million copies to date. That is almost 5 times more than Dragon Age the Veilguard. Yeah.
Balatro, and it's like relatively like cheap compared to. I mean, they probably could have charged a little bit more, and people would probably still buy this.
Amazing game. I do want to mention also that Phantom Blade Zero, which is one of the Sekiro, Wolong, Black Myth, Wu Chang, First Berserker, Liza P, Where Winds Meet, Ballad of Antara, maybe Ninja Gaiden 4. We could throw that in there now. Likes. It is one of those likes. You could search it up there to see if you remember which one of those likes it is. But apparently it's been getting an investment boost from Chinese investors after the success of Black Myth Wukong. I actually think this game looks more interesting to me than Black Myth, but
oh, does it to you specifically?
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll
I don't know.
It actually got a new trailer. Did you see the new trailer?
I haven't seen the new trailer. Does it actually look good?
Oh, it looks fire. But the first time I saw it, I'm like, bro, is this even real? How is this even gonna work? Yeah. So that is Phantom Blade Zero. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how it's gonna perform.
Yeah, they just had a 6-minute trailer on PlayStation. Let's see what this is.
Mm-hmm. Might be seeing more games from Chinese developers.
Oh, dude, it looks.
I hope they do move away from like just the Souls like or things that look like, you know, typical. I want to see something like crazy from them.
Bro, this game looks wild. They're not gonna. I think they're gonna just keep making these games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, some of these get like I don't know. There's an explosion in these games. Some of them have their own identity that's more unique. I'd say like Stellar Blade has more of a unique identity.
Mm-hmm.
But some of these just like you look at them, you can't even tell which one is which. Like search of Pu Chung and search of Where Winds Meet. Or like Ballad of Antara. Tell me if you remember which one is which.
I literally, well, I mean, I played Wulong, so I kind of remember that one, but the other ones, like, if I just see a trailer for it, I'm not going to remember for sure.
That's it for the news this week.
Most anticipated update. Have you actually played Dynasty Warriors?
So Dynasty, we talked a little bit last week about Dynasty Warriors. You wanted to cut out some sections that we talked about because you didn't like the way your review was organized.
Yeah, I sounded like a crazy person.
Yeah, I didn't listen to the episode, so I actually don't know what you cut out and what you didn't cut out. But I know we mentioned last week that I played the demo. I loved the demo. Instantly went and pre-ordered a copy of the game. I got it, but I was like busy the Friday that it came out and the Saturday. And then we were recording on Sunday. You got the 72-hour early access or whatever. So you were playing since Wednesday or Tuesday. By the time we recorded last Sunday, you were already like through the game on the one
faction,
yeah, under the one faction. And then that Sunday. I did play that Sunday, and I played the Monday after that. But I've only played for 2 sessions, which probably cumulatively like 4 hours. I've done like 3 of the main battles and like a bunch of other skirmishes and smaller battles and upgrading my weapon and whatever. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I'll get into the reason why I haven't played more of it later, but take it away.
All right, I'll just give a quick update. But I'm done the second faction now. So like I guess realistically, I'm kind of like post game content really, because a lot of it is you're replaying the whole story over and over again, just in a different perspective. So I'll comment mainly about what kind of unlocks after you finish the first playthrough. So you unlock a new weapon. So there's a few weapon types, but you unlock specifically the halberd. Halberd, I don't know. Basically, the weapon that Lu Bu uses.
Halberd, I think it's right.
Yeah, halberd. Amazing. I love this weapon. I love this was my favorite weapon in like Final and Dynasty Warriors 8 as well. You're just completely OP. It's great. So that unlocks, and then what also unlocks is the ultimate difficulty, which is like, you know, the extra hard, the crazy hard.
Yeah.
And that I previously talked about it, but there's challenges to be completed, and when you complete those challenges, you gain like special horses or like the next level of weapon types. Post-game content probably like pretty interesting if you actually like the game. So I'm probably going to try and clear some of these ultimate battles. I've only done 2 so far. They're hard. Like you have to basically like level up your guy to like 80 to really stand a chance. I think I'm like 78.
Probably really have to focus on the way you're approaching the battle, which direction you're coming from.
Yeah, exactly. It's very like specific. But yeah, overall, I'm still enjoying the game.
Yeah.
I can't wait to finish this so I can move on to something you have tried. So I'll let you take it away.
Before I go there, I just wanted to ask if you thought playing with the different factions was different enough, because you're just kind of playing the story again. Was it different enough that it was really worth a playthrough?
So I guess the question really is, do you like this game enough to try and get the special weapons and the challenge, and like basically attempt the challenge mode, like the ultimate mode? If you don't care for that, then it probably isn't really worth playing like that many times, unless you have a specific faction that like character on the faction that you like. Then you kind of learn a bit more about them. But realistically, if you don't really care to play this challenge mode, like this ultimate mode, you might want to pass on doing all this faction stuff. Play through it once, pick your favorite faction. It might be enough for you.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. I have to play more to realize what I want to do. Yeah, so I have been playing the game that you want to hop on next. Of course, I'll start with that. But after the developer direct, I said on the top of the show, immediately downloaded Ninja Gaiden 2, hopped right into it. Wow, man. What a game.
It's good.
Game. What a throwback. It's good. I would mention that keep in mind you're just playing a remaster of a 360 game from 2008. And if you haven't played a game that old in a while, you might have forgotten how games used to like be back in the day. Like some of the themes, some of the way they control.
So the control of the character is a little bit clunky.
I wouldn't say it's clunky, no. But the idea of like nowadays, if you picked up Ninja Gaiden, if you saw it at the store and picked it up, I think you would assume that it would play like Wo Long. Right? Would you not? If you saw Ninja Gaiden and then you saw Wo Long, you think it'd be third person, either pulled back or over the shoulder like a God of War.
Yeah.
And you could lock on and lock off camera angles and then do that. No, that's not how this game plays. It almost, in the battlefield, it almost has somewhat of a fixed camera angle. Like it doesn't rotate behind your back. You would have to manually rotate it. Like you could be facing forward and hitting stuff like that. It's not gonna like follow you around.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And there's like a lot of jumping on the screen, so it's hard to explain. But once you play it, you'll get the feel that this is kind of how games were back in the day.
Yeah. It'll bring you right back to be like, there's a lot of quality of life stuff that's missing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's quality of life stuff. I just think it's different game design. I just think it's different game philosophy. It works for that game. From what I saw from the trailer for Ninja Gaiden 4, it looks like Ninja Gaiden 4 is actually going to stick with that camera as well, or that feel, right? It feels good for the way that game is, because you're just basically hopping back and forth from enemy to enemy. You're blocking this one, but then coming here, chopping this guy up, coming back. So it makes more sense. For the way the game controls, the camera angle makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't make as much sense if you were following someone from the back, right? And then every time they turned around, I'd have to like spin the camera. No, it makes, if you play it, it'll you'll get the better feel. I did on Xbox Series X, I did start the game up on 120 FPS because I'm like, this is a cool action game. I want to see with all the frames.
Yeah.
So I played 120 FPS mode. By about 30 minutes into it, I had the thought, I'm like, this, to be honest with you, this doesn't look very good of a remaster remake. Actually, I can't even see the remaster remake. Maybe I just think I remember this game differently, but it doesn't look like this is a PS5 or Series X game.
Yeah.
Then I had a thought. I'm like, maybe I should drop it to 60 frames. Yeah, the 120 frames was just destroying the
textures and
texture. Yeah. So play it at 60.
Okay.
It's not worth the additional frames at all. It makes the game kind of look like garbage. It was. I thought it was like running at 720. To be honest with you.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's how bad it was like, for texture-wise.
I was like, what is going on, man? And as soon as I dropped it to 60, I'm like, this is a remaster or
I gotcha.
Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, obviously the story's all the same, so there's a lot of like
Yeah, you're fighting against like monsters and stuff.
It's for the time. The writing is for the time, right? And like, dude, waifu watch, like straight up. There's this chick named Sonia that like the game opens up to, and like, let's just say there's physics.
I love it.
That's all.
I love it.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black.
I'll have to I'll include a picture. I always love including the pictures.
Yeah, like there's straight up, like I was mind blown. Like the opening scene of the game. I'm just like, bruh, what? So that's Ninja Gaiden 2. I actually don't have that much time in it. I actually probably have more time in Dynasty Warriors, I think. So not really that much time in it. I just played it for that one session on Thursday. Now here's the thing. I'm gonna hop on to the next game unless you have any other questions.
No. I'm excited for this next game. This is the game that you gave up Dynasty Warriors and Ninja Gaiden 2 for.
So I played a little bit of Dynasty Warriors, I played a little bit of Ninja Gaiden 2, and then I played a little bit of this game, and my brain is like, no, you're playing this game. Lonely Mountain Snow Riders is an indie game from Megagon Industries. It came out on Tuesday on Xbox Game Pass. I think it's like $20-$30 on the PlayStation Store. It is a indie skiing game with kind of polygonal character design and polygonal kind of world design. It's not like hyper realistic. And bro, it's very simple. There's a multiplayer mode where there's PvP. First one down the hill wins. There's also this multiplayer mode where you play in conjunction with your teammates and you have to score a certain amount of tricks and do a certain amount of tasks to score higher points. And then there's like the single player mode where there's 3 worlds, 4 hills in each world, and a blue slope and a black slope on every hill or mountain. And so the black slope is more difficult. And to unlock the black slope, you have to do all the challenges on the blue slope.
Yep.
3 challenges for each slope. So theoretically, a total of, what would that do? 24, right?
Yep.
So 24 kind of levels that you could play. I played this on Thursday for like an hour. I think I played it on Wednesday for like half. And then I played it last night for about 5 hours. And I did all the challenges. Geez. I did all the challenges on all the slopes, blue and diamond. So I'm basically done kind of the single player, except there's like these like secret like rest location you could find in each level. I'm thinking about going back and do that. Dude, this game is so zen. This game is so relaxing. It's so beautiful. It controls so nice. The skiing is so crisp. It makes you just want to go skiing. Like it's just like so chill, bro. There's no even background music. You're just going down this hill and you just hear your skis on the snow. And like, I mean, these tracks are pretty wild and saying like you do some crazy jumps and stuff like that. You could do tricks if you want. You don't have to do tricks if you need to. Just get to the bottom of the hill with the least amount of deaths and the best time. And there's checkpoints along the way, and it might take you anywhere between 1 minute to 3 minutes to go down a hill. Bro, it's just so relaxing. The mechanics are so good. The game design is so good. It controls so good. It feels so good. Like it's simple. There's nothing else to say. It just like, that's all it is. It's a skiing game, indie. It's not like some crazy thing where it's like 30 hours of gameplay or do whatever. Or there's leaderboards, but it's not like you're, you know, it's just like straightforward. There's no story or anything. Just go down the hill. You customize the way your guy looks. When you unlock more stuff, you know, change their skis, change their toque, change their jacket, the colors, and you just go down the hill. Bro, I don't know what to tell you. It's such a wonderful game. I cannot recommend it enough. For anyone who's just trying to chill out, end a day at work after a long day of work for an hour or two, just go down these hills, bro. Just relax. It's sweet. I actually played their first game, which was Lonely Mountain Downhill, which was the same idea about mountain bikes. It was the same idea, but it was mountain bikes. And I never played that game to completion, and I'm thinking about going back and playing that game to completion at some point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if their next one's going to be skateboarding.
I don't know. Just take a look at this game, look at its art style, and tell me what you think. Like, if you're going to get Game Pass for Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, just give this a try. Yeah, it's chill. It's just like, oh man, I can't even explain. Like, it's so nice being able to like control your skis and do the perfect turn and make sure you don't like wipe out, and add the perfect landing and speed up and slow down. It's just like, then you memorize
Is it a
the
fairly easy
track.
game for all the challenges?
I wouldn't say it's fairly easy, no. Like you can't just like hop in and do it on the first try.
Yeah.
You have to play it a few times, I think, and then you learn the slope, and then you get a better number.
Gotcha.
Also, it's not like the slope is fully linear. There's meandering paths.
Oh, so you can take a different path every single time
different
you go
routes,
down.
and the more you play, the more you figure out shortcuts. Like, to get some of the higher numbers to unlock the black slope, like going down the main kind of run that's most obvious and clear, doesn't actually get you that. It'll be way too hard to get that. So you got, like, if you're coming down a hill, like there might be zigzag this way you go
Oh,
jump,
that's kind of cool.
this way you come down this way. All the roads lead to the same kind of end and to the same checkpoint, but it's like there's multiple ways you could approach it. Yeah, man, that's Lonely Mountains Snow Riders. That was all I would been playing this week. You got anything else?
No.
Nice. All right, man. Who are you looking forward to next week? Oh, no. Hold up. You watched Nosferatu.
I did.
How was that?
It is great. I actually did enjoy it a lot.
I loved it a lot.
I'm glad I finally watched it.
Yeah. It was one of my favorite movies from last year.
It has the exact same storyline as Dracula, so I can see why, it was flagged and, they got sued. Or
the original one in 1922.
Yeah, the original one.
Yeah. Now I think Dracula's public domain now, yeah.
Yeah. So just watching it, I'm like, this is like exactly Dracula to a T. But I do have to say, all the camera angles that they used, especially in the first half of the film, amazing.
Oh yeah. The
cinematography, amazing. The first half.
Yeah, I kind of didn't like the design for
Count Orlok.
Later on, it just felt like in the beginning when you didn't know what he looked like, he was more scary. But as the movie went along, you kind of like, oh, this guy's just.
I think they didn't need to have so many like images of him naked, because we get that he's grotesque, but like I would rather see him in like his creepy outfit.
Yeah, and you don't know. It's like it's up to your imagination to figure out what this guy is or what he really looks like. Yeah.
Than to see him like naked with his like dong out.
I didn't really notice that. Was there a scene where his
dong is out? Yeah, I think specifically the scene where the guy tries to kill him in his home.
Coffin. Yeah.
In his coffin. Yeah, and then also like I didn't need to see his trader. Like I forget what they're called, but there's like a specific name for the traders, the human traders. I also didn't need to see him as naked as he was, but
Well, you didn't have any. You had no problem with seeing Lily Rose Depp naked, did you?
Nope. Just kidding. But she plays that one TV show with The Weeknd. I forget what his name. Like,
that terrible show?
Yeah, the terrible show.
Oh my god, that was so bad. What was it called?
Yeah, she was basically naked in that too, but like realistically, I don't really care.
Yeah, that when you throw that stuff in your face all the time, you become desensitized to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you watched any of the other movies from this director?
What was the other ones that he directed?
The Northman, that was 2022. The Lighthouse, 2019.
I haven't seen any of them, but they were on my watch list at some point, especially The Northman. I actually had that like ready to watch at one point, and then I just didn't bother.
Well, go watch all three right away. They're so good.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about The Lighthouse, because that's also Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, right?
Yeah. That was so good. I would say The Lighthouse. I haven't watched The Witch. I've been meaning to watch it, but out of The Lighthouse, Northman, and Nosferatu, I think The Lighthouse might be the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, man, that's it for this week. I wonder if we're gonna keep getting news weeks like this one, Matt. This one and the one before.
Yeah. This one was a good one. I love this week for news.
I don't
for
know
the most part.
Yeah, maybe it'll slow down one. We'll see. But thanks for joining us, guys, and don't forget to
Like and subscribe.
Well, we should be more detailed. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the Slow Run Cast, and ring the bell on Spotify at the Slow Run Cast so you know exactly when the episodes drop. Same on YouTube and same on Apple Podcasts. On all 3 places at the Slow Run Cast. Thanks for joining us, and hope we could keep you entertained going forward. Take care, guys.